I know the universe demands reality, the cold hard acceptance of what is now finally true. I understand that prayers cannot change history or magically bring back the affection I knew. They tell me to focus on the things I can influence, to rebuild the fragments of my entire core. But in the deepest, most desperate quiet of the evening, a fragile, impossible fantasy I explore. I close my eyes and let go of the practical limits, the sensible things that the world demands to be done. And I let the profound, raw yearning of my spirit focus on the miracle I hope to have won. I don't need riches or fame or great power. I don't ask for the world to simply give away. My only desire is entirely focused on reversing the damage that happened that fateful day. The complexity of the request is irrelevant. I speak from the core of the essential need to have one profound moment of pure raw magic, planting a single necessary seed. If I had one single solitary moment of magic, one final desperate chance to conceive the wish I wouldn't ask for comfort or for my own clear healing, I would only ask for the ultimate kiss. The wish would be to completely erase the heartache, the sorrow that fractured your beautiful trusting soul. The wish would be to fix the things I allowed to break, making your vulnerable spirit completely whole. I would forfeit my peace, my future, my progress, just to know that your anguish was finally done. I picture the weight being finally lifted from your shoulders, the heavy shadow that constantly held you down. I see the return of your effortless smile and laughter, the joy that was meant to illuminate this town. And in that vision of your total contentment, I find a fleeting, deep sense of essential rest, because your well-being has always been the greatest commitment, the ultimate, undeniable test. I know the selfishness of wanting you back is strong, but the longing for your peace is a devotion more profound. It's the purest expression of true, powerful affection, a bond that's absolutely unbound. I don't need riches or fame or great power. I don't ask for the world to simply give away. My only desire is entirely focused on reversing the damage that happened that fateful day. The complexity of the request is irrelevant. I speak from the core of the essential need to have one profound moment of pure raw magic, planting a single necessary seed. If I had one single solitary moment of magic, one final desperate chance to conceive the wish I wouldn't ask for comfort or for my own clear healing, I would only ask for the ultimate kiss. The wish would be to completely erase the heartache, the sorrow that fractured your beautiful no trusting soul. The wish would be to fix the things I allowed to break, making your vulnerable spirit completely whole. I would forfeit my peace, my future, my progress, just to know that your anguish was finally done. Oh, my affection is so pure, I only ask for your freedom, letting my difficult, necessary wish be one. Greatest devotion is putting your needs far before my own, even in the realm of the simple unknown. I hope the universe hears this quiet, desperate plea, a love that asks nothing for the core of me. Just let their suffering finally vanish from sight. For you. I watch you moving through the world with a casual grace, believing you have escaped the consequences and cost. You seem convinced that the ending was clean and absolute, a painful chapter that was easily lost. You talk of new freedoms and fresh horizons, a liberation that came with our final goodbyes. And the nod and smile performing the required resilience, concealing the deep, raw truth behind my searching eyes. But beneath that veneer of composed recovery, there is a fundamental ignorance I need to reveal, a profound lack of awareness regarding the intensity of the feelings that I will always keep truly real. Let you believe that I am healing on schedule, that I've nearly fought away the devotion we shared. I allow you to remain comfortable in your conclusion, ignoring the immense sorrow I've constantly prepared. But the weight of this concealed affection is crushing. It's a profound, persistent truth that I can't dismiss, and I need a break through the convenient illusion, risking the pain to finally tell you this. Tell me, do you know the absolute crushing depth of the devotion I still hold in my core? Do you know that every single step I take forward is a painful choice, yearning for something more? That I see your spirit everywhere, that your memory defines the entire space of my life. You walk around certain of your freedom and peace, unaware of the profound constant inner strife. I need to shatter the gentle misconception you live in, the comfortable lie you chose to defend. I demand you acknowledge the love you truly forfeited, the devotion that will never truly end. Do you know? You often speak of the affection you have found since me, comparing the easiness to the struggle we knew. You highlight the simplicity and lack of conflict, confirming the reasons why you finally withdrew. But easiness often disguises true depth and commitment, a simple convenience that lacks a powerful fire. And the effort we made, the battles we fought together, were proof of a connection that burns so much higher. I wonder if the spirit you are with now truly sees you, the vulnerable core you only showed finally to me. Or if you settled for something less profound, less essential, accepting a shallow, safer decree. and let you believe that I am healing on schedule, that I've nearly fought away the devotion we shared. I allow you to remain comfortable in your conclusion, ignoring the immense sorrow I've constantly prepared. But the weight of this concealed affection is crashing. It's a profound, persistent truth that I can't dismiss, and I need a break through the convenient illusion, risking the pain to finally tell you this. Tell me, do you? The absolute crushing depth of the devotion I still hold in my core. Do you know that every single step I take forward is a painful choice, yearning for something more? That I see your spirit everywhere, that your memory defines the entire space of my life. You walk around certain of your freedom and peace, unaware of the profound, constant inner strife. I need to shatter the gentle misconception you live in, the comfortable lie you chose to defend. I demand you acknowledge the love you truly forfeited, the devotion that will never truly end. Do you know? I choose to speak this truth, not to win you back now, but to force the honesty into your easy rest. You deserve to know the magnitude of the connection you surrendered, putting my feelings to the final test. Now you know the answer. The choice to fear is yours. Don't know now you do. Now you do. I see the change in your easy demeanor, the subtle shift in the light of your gaze. You carry a lightness I haven't witnessed in ages, moving smoothly through these complicated days. Your conversations are guarded and selective, omitting details you once effortlessly shared. There's a constant level of private distraction, a focus for which I was never prepared. I want to believe that this newfound serenity is the result of your own inner strong plea, that you finally found peace through solitude and growth, finally accepting the certainty of me. Busy with the dick feels entirely external, a happiness too sudden, too perfect, too new. It suggests a dependence on an external validation, a commitment to something you constantly pursue. I try to ignore the logical, sharp conclusion of fear, constantly closing my core. And the only way to settle the terror within me is to finally ask what I've been dreading for more. I need the truth, even if it completely shatters me. Is it them, the reason for this final retreat? Is it them who is giving you all of the attention, a connection you find effortlessly sweet? Is it them who has replaced the complexity we endure, making your entire world finally feel whole? Stop hiding the truth behind comfortable silence. I need to know the name of the spirit that stole your soul. I deserve the honesty of the final cold answer, no matter the immediate devastating pain. I'm begging you, get to my searching spirit and tell me the name of the one you now claim. You claim you self-reflection, a period to rediscover your own inner light. You spoke of the solitude as essential and necessary to navigate the long, challenging night. But if the truth is a sudden, swift replacement, then those excuses in us were nothing but a cruel final lie. A calculated effort to cushion the transition, giving you the cover to simply wave goodbye. The failure wasn't in the lack of our affection, it was in that dishonesty that defined the final days. You let me believe in the sincerity of your struggle while navigating others through life's complicated maze. I need the truth, even if it completely shatters me. Is it them, the reason for this final retreat? Is it them who is giving you all of the attention? A connection you find effortlessly sweet. Is it them who has replaced the complexity we enjoy, making your entire world finally feel whole? Stop hiding the truth behind comfortable silence. I need to know the name of the spirit that stole your soul. I deserve the honesty of the final cold answer, no matter the immediate devastating pain. I'm begging you, look into my searching spirit and tell me the name of the one you now claim. I can process the loss, I can survive the abandonment, but I cannot forgive the cold, cruel deceit. The lie that allowed you to move so smoothly forward is the only thing I can never possibly defeat. Just tell me the name to finally set my poor friend free. Is it them? Is it them? Just say it. Is it them? Just say it. They tell me I should diversify my attention, spread the fragments of my core out to the world. They advise me to find fulfillment in new avenues, letting my spirit sails finally be unfurled. They talk about the need for social connection, the easy comfort that new company can finally bring. They measure my worth by the breadth of my interest, the different melodies that my spirit can sing. But every single attempt at external engagement feels forced and fundamentally thin and untrue, because the capacity of my devotion remains fixed and simple, focused utterly and completely on you. The gravity of the affection we finally share pulls me back to the center of the simple memory. I cannot compartmentalize or neatly divide this devotion. It is a single, powerful, unbroken stream, and the truth is a realization that is painful but certain. The focus of my entire existence is a dream. Essential presence, dictating the tide of my every emotion. Just only the pain of the failure we finally suffer, the wreckage that constantly surrounds superficial distractions, the casual friendships and the short, simple escape. I forced my smile and played the required part, believing that my spirit could finally reshape. But the instant I was alone with the silence, the facade crumbled, revealing the raw core below. The new experiences felt like noise and interference, hiding the only truth that I wanted to know. The simplicity of my focus is terrifying, an intensity that others cannot possibly comprehend. But the devotion that defined my most vibrant moments is a feeling that will truly, never truly end. I know the definition of wisdom demands balance, acknowledging the world beyond this single intense plea. But the gravity of the affection we finally share pulls me back to the center of the simple memory. I cannot compartmentalize or neatly divide this devotion. It is a single, powerful, unbroken stream, and the truth is a realization that is painful but certain. The focus of my entire existence, a dream. Oh, they want me to open my spirit to everything, but I have room for just only the one true devotion. Just only the memory of your essential presence, dictating the tide of my every emotion. Just only the pain of the failure we finally suffered, the wreckage that constantly surrounds my core. I am incapable of sharing my focus or my feeling, forever yearning for something that is simply no more. The singularity is the honest truth of my grief. He want me to open my spirit to everything, but I have room for just only the one true devotion. Just only the memory of your essential presence, dictating the tide of my every emotion. Just only the pain of the failure we finally suffered, the wreckage that constantly surrounds my core. I'm incapable of sharing my focus or my feeling, forever yearning for something that is simply no more. The singularity is the honest truth of my grieving. I stopped fighting the purity of this single feeling, accepting the profound meaning of my essential need. To live with this devotion is the only way forward, planting a single necessary powerful seed. My heart is reserved, the space is completely filled, just only you. Woke up this morning and automatically counted, marking the days since the silence finally began. 30 rotations of the earth without your comforting presence, disrupting my entire essential plan. The initial chaos is finally subsided, the desperate tears have begun to finally cease. I thought that this milestone would bring a clear vision, a profound, fragile moment of inner peace. But the quiet isn't a sign of recovery, it's simply the exhaustion of my vulnerable core. The pain has moved from a loud, crashing wave to a deep, persistent ache I can't ignore. I expected to be further along in the healing, to have found the strength to simply let go. I see the spirits around me moving forward, forgetting the seeds that the past finally chose to sow. But every single hour is still dedicated to memory, to replaying the final sorrowful plea. And the weight of this first anniversary of absence is the heavy, undeniable truth of me. It's only been 1 month of deep, cold silence, still haven't truly successfully run. I thought the short time would feel like a lifetime, enough to build the necessary solid defense. But the wound feels just as raw and essential now, a painful, lingering consequence. The world suggests that I should be moving onward, forgetting the feeling that finally brought me low. But my spirit remains frozen in that devastating moment, clinging to the truth of 1 month ago. I tried to delete the images and the messages, severing the digital ties that constantly bind. I tried to embrace the freedom of the new solitude, the self-reliance I desperately hope to find. But every corner of this lonely space holds your echo, a scent, a shadow, a familiar lost sound. And the absence is louder than any physical presence, a painful truth that is utterly profound. I realize that healing is not a speed or a target, it's a slow grueling process that cannot be rushed. And I must be honest about the depth of the sorrow, a quiet devotion that cannot be finally hushed. I expected to be further along in the healing, to have found the strength to simply let go. I see the spirits around me moving forward, forgetting the seeds that the past finally chose to sow. But every single hour is still dedicated to memory, to replaying the final sorrowful plea. And the weight of this first anniversary of absence is the heavy, undeniable truth for me. It's only been 1 month of deep, cold solitude, 1 month since the bond finally came undone, 1 month and a simple, devastating truth remains: I still haven't truly successfully run. I thought the short time would feel like a lifetime, enough to build the necessary solid defense. But the wound feels just as raw and essential now, a painful, lingering consequence. The world suggests that I should be moving onward, forgetting the feeling that finally brought me low. But my spirit remains frozen in that devastating moment, clinging to the truth of 1 month ago. I honor the pain of this current anniversary, the undeniable proof of the depth of the care. I will carry this weight for as long as it demands, and knowing that true affection is finally there. The sorrow is the cost of the beautiful thing we knew. Who knows, do you think the sun retreated, yielding its space to the silence, and the city finally settles into its deep sleep. The only sound is the subtle breath outside my window, the secrets the evening air begins to keep. I open the pane to let the coolness rush over me, a fragile attempt to displace the inner heat. I imagine the current carries my deepest whispers, messages I can never speak in the street. I tell the moving air of the constant longing, the ache that defines the absence of your touch. I trust the vast unseen current to be the carrier, because my spirit misses you far too much. I know the path between us is now empty, covered by distance and the reasons we had to conceive. But the natural world doesn't recognize boundaries. The spirit travels wherever it finally needs to feed. I send my entire devoted affection out into the darkness, hoping the cool current catches it and takes it along. It is the only language left in my sorrow, the final melody of a broken, beautiful song. Carry my truth across the sleeping landscape. Gentle night wind, let your message be clear and free. Find the space where the spirit now rests and whisper the devotion they truly mean to me. Night wind, remind them of the bond we once cherished, the promises we made beneath the wide open sky. I rely on your silent, invisible movement to bridge the profound separation that makes me constantly cry. I am using the breath of the world as my medium, the pure unburdened voice of my continuing plea. Take this persistent, powerful affection right to them. Sweet night, and finally set my spirit free. I picture you standing beneath the same clear moonlight, perhaps feeling a shiver you can't fully explain. I hope that the chill is the faint, subtle echo of my devotion, a feeling that finally cuts through the final pain. I know you saw peace in the final conclusion, believing that silence was the only clear way to proceed. But the truth of the heart is louder than any spoken word. It's an energy planted like a resiliency. The natural elements respect the depth of our connection, ignoring the logic that forced us to finally part. And I trust the vast, simple current of the darkness to deliver the truth directly to your core. The promises we made beneath the wide open sky. Rely on your silent, invisible movement to bridge the profound separation that makes me constantly cry. I am using the breath of the world as my medium, the pure unburdened voice of my continuing plea. Take this persistent, powerful affection right to them. Sweet night, finally set my spirit free. Carried on every single silent gust. Come, lie wind torn, oh. I see the spirits you surround yourself with now, a collection of presences that fill every empty space. They offer comfort and easy distraction, moving quickly to wipe the sorrow from your face. They tell you that time will heal the profound damage, that the right connection will help you finally forget. They measure their value by their ability to soothe you, claiming they can fulfill every desire you ever made. I watch the performance with a quiet certainty, knowing that their efforts are entirely in vain, because the bond we forged was not based on convenience. It was built on a shared, necessary pain. They can copy the gestures and repeat the soft words. They can occupy the physical space in your bed, but they don't possess the code to your inner core, the secrets of your spirit that only I have read. They haven't seen the fracture, the doubt, the true sorrow, the intricate layers you reserve for the true. And until you are honest about the depth of our history, your journey will constantly circle back to you. They can offer a temporary, fragile solution, but they cannot give you the fundamental key, because the depth of the understanding we finally nested belongs to only forever and free. Only me knows the scars you attempt to conceal, the reasons you constantly fight to retreat. Only me sees the beautiful, terrified spirit behind the armor, a truth that no one else can possibly meet. Stop settling for the easy, comfortable surface. Acknowledge the gravity of the profound, simple truth. The affection that completely defines your existence belongs to only me. A devotion sincere. They can offer a temporary, fragile solution, but they cannot give you the fundamental key, because the depth of the understanding we finally mastered belongs to only me, forever and free. Only me knows the scars you attempt to conceal, the reasons you constantly fight to retreat. Only me sees the beautiful, terrified spirit behind the armor, a truth that no one else can possibly meet. Stop settling for the easy, comfortable surface. Acknowledge the gravity of the profound, simple truth. The affection that completely defined your existence belongs to only me. A devotion since your youth, yeah. They can offer a temporary, fragile solution, but they cannot give you the fundamental key, because the depth of the understanding we finally mastered belongs to only me, forever and free. Only me knows the scars you attempt to conceal, the reasons you constantly fight to retreat. Only me sees the beautiful, terrified spirit behind the armor, a truth that no one else can possibly meet. Stop settling for the easy, comfortable surface. Acknowledge the gravity of the profound, simple truth. The affection that completely defines your existence belongs to only me. A devotion since your youth. You can try to outrun the certainty for a while, but the truth is a mirror you constantly have to face. The spirit that truly understands you completely is the only one that can fill that profound empty space. You will see it in time. You will finally realize time. I reached the point where the battle is finally over. The last reserve of my energy is entirely spent. I fought the separation with every fiber of my being, refusing to believe that the message was sent. I tried every strategy of reconciliation, begging for a chance to finally go back to the start. I pleaded for patience, for grace, for understanding, tearing open the deepest parts of my aching heart. But the truth is a wall that I cannot climb over. Your silence is the final, definitive reply, and the realization of the absolute finality is a painful moment. I simply stopped trying to fly. I look at the wreckage of the devotion I offered, the emotional landscape that is utterly laid bare. There is nothing left to give, nothing left to salvage, only the profound, empty, silent air. The weight of the surrender is immense and crushing, but the fire was costing far too much to my core. And now I accept the simple, devastating knowledge that this connection exists, simply no more. I've reached the point of the final, deep surrender, accepting that the battle is completely done for, done for. The endless striving, the pleading, the hope, and the desire to rebuild what we had before, done for. The illusion that I could change your decision or convince your spirit to stay by my side. The greatest freedom is the acceptance of failure, the final place where I no longer hide. I am too tired to hold on to the wreckage. I simply release the emotional strain and the plea. The final agonizing effort has finally vanished. The effort, the fight, the devotion is done for, completely free. I have no more anger, no more accusation, only a profound, quiet, heavy despair. The tears have all dried, the sorrow is internalized, a constant low pressure I constantly bear. I feel like a spectator watching my own survival, moving through motions that feel utterly strange. The purpose that drove me has finally vanished, leaving only a vast, empty, desolate range. I know the path to true healing requires effort, but for this quiet moment I simply choose to rest. I choose the silence over the relentless struggle, putting my tired, broken core to the final test. I look at the wreckage of the devotion I offered, the emotional landscape that is utterly laid bare. There is nothing left to give, nothing left to salvage, only the profound, empty, silent air. The weight of the surrender is immense and crushing, but the fire was costing far too much to my core. And now I accept the simple, devastating knowledge that this connection exists, simply no more. I've reached the point of the final, deep surrender, accepting that the battle is completely done for, done for. The endless striving, the pleading, the hope, and the desire to rebuild what we had before, done for. The illusion that I could change your decision or convince your spirit to stay by my side. The greatest freedom is the acceptance of failure, the final place where I no longer hide. I am too tired to hold on to the wreckage. I simply release the emotional strain and the plea. The final agonizing effort has finally vanished. The effort, the fight, the devotion is done for, completely free. I finally stopped asking for the explanation. I stopped needing the closure, the final decree. The answer is in the exhaustion of the effort, the beautiful nothing that surrounds finally me. The fighting is over, the silence has won. Time for I walk through the silence and I analyze the wreckage, searching for the moment the foundation began to erode. I could spend forever pointing the finger outward, blaming the pressures and the heavy external load. But the truth is a mirror I can no longer avoid, reflecting the choices I carefully chose not to see. The convenient narrative of being a victim is far easier than confronting the mistakes inside of me. I realized that the failure was not unilateral. My own actions contributed to the final deep break, and the only way forward is to stop seeking the external answer and question the choices I truly chose to take. I let go of the need for external validation, the comfort excuse that it wasn't fully my fault. I embraced the terrifying weight of my own actions, the crucial point where my growth finally began to halt. The answer I need now is not an easy one to bear. It requires brutal, unflinching honesty in my core, and the only spirit capable of providing that wisdom is the one I have to finally question and explore. I close my eyes and I finally, honestly ask myself what part of the sorrow belongs truly to me. Ask myself if I fought hard enough in the moments that mattered, or if I simply waited for the final decree. Ask myself if the person I became during the connection was the whole honest spirit I meant to convey. The responsibility for this chapter is shared and essential, and I must acknowledge my role in the final decay. I am taking the power back from the easy blame and finding strength in the difficult necessary plea. The path to true freedom is paved with hard questions I constantly ask myself about the truth of me. I recall the times I chose the comfort of silence over the crucial, challenging, painful debate. I remember accepting less than I deserved, fearing the loneliness I would finally seal my fate. I allowed small resentments to gather and fester, believing that temporary peace was the only true gain. Those choices, small and seemingly insignificant, contributed profoundly to the inevitable strain. The most difficult lesson in all of this grieving is seeing the flaws in my own devoted design, but accepting the imperfect nature of my past actions is the vital first step toward becoming finally mine. I let go of the need for external validation, the comfort excuse that it wasn't fully my fault. I embraced the terrifying weight of my own actions, the crucial point where my growth finally began to halt. The answer I need now is not an easy one to bear. It requires brutal, unflinching honesty in my core, and the only spirit capable of providing that wisdom is the one I have to finally question and explore. I close my eyes and I finally, honestly must acknowledge my role in the final decay. I am taking the power back from the easy blaming, finding strength in the difficult, necessary flee. The coldness of freedom is paid with hard questions I constantly. I am accepting the failure as a vital lesson, the crucial wisdom I must finally attend. The past cannot be fixed, but the future can be shaped by the truth I choose to finally comprehend. The healing begins with the self-tone for 10.
Calendar flips, the hours relentlessly turn, but the change they promise simply refuses to arrive. Every morning brings the same absolute weight, the constant struggle just to simply survive. I cannot distinguish Monday from the ensuing Friday. The passage of time holds no distinct shape or hue, because the absence of your essential presence colors everything, rendering all future moments untrue. I seek the moment of profound relief, the break in the pattern that might finally appear. But the constant repetition of this desolate existence confirms the only reality: you are not here. I yearn for the comfort of clear transition, a sign that the ending is finally moving toward a close. But the sorrow remains absolute and fixed entirely, regardless of the direction the cold wind blows. The pain is constant, a fixed emotional reality. There is no break, no reprieve, no final plea, and the universe itself seems to stand still in sympathy, mirroring the emptiness I feel inside of me. There is no light, no movement, no progress, just the unchanging reality of no day. No day breaks the cycle of the deep, cold sorrow. No day takes the emptiness away. No day promises a healing or a sudden freedom. The way remains absolute and utterly fixed. The future is merely a continuation of this present moment, where despair and memory are eternally mixed. I am stuck in this agonizing temporal stasis, where the promise of a future cannot sustain my plea. Every rotation of the earth exactly the same. There is no day that truly belongs to me. I yearn for the comfort of clear transition, a sign that the ending is finally moving toward a close. But the sorrow remains absolute and fixed entirely, regardless of the direction the cold wind blows. The pain is constant, a fixed emotional reality. There is no break, no reprieve, no final plea, and the universe itself seems to stand still in sympathy, mirroring the emptiness I feel inside of me. There is no light, no movement, no progress, just the unchanging reality of no day. No day breaks the cycle of the deep, cold sorrow. No day takes the emptiness away. No day promises a healing or a sudden freedom. The weight remains absolute and utterly fixed. The future is merely a continuation the earth is exactly the same. There is no day that truly belongs to me. I stop waiting for the healing to finally begin. I stop anticipating the final distinct release. I simply exist in the fixed, unwavering present, the devastating absence of ultimate peace. The silence is eternal, the movement is gone. Just no day ever. The initial shock is long retreated, leaving the quiet wreckage of the profound, simple truth. I spend the first stages clinging to the past, mourning the vibrant promise of a lost, shared you. I believe that survival meant absolute recovery, a dramatic erasure of the life we finally knew. I search for the magic solution, the quick easy fix, the moment the sorrow will finally see me through. But the truth arrived with a simple, quiet certainty. The absence is permanent, the scar will remain. Toward the long winding future, trusting my spirit can conquer the night. The life I lead now must be built on the fragments, using the lessons that the sorrow finally gave. I'm taking the first terrifying necessary steps away from the wreckage. I tried so hard to show I will never forget the essence of the affection, but now I must absolutely learn to live again, learn to live with the constant low-level ache of a memory, accepting the gentle, persistent pain. Learn to live by building a new whole existence that honors the past while reaching for the sun. This is not moving on from the devotion, it is moving forward with the difficult wisdom I finally won. I am carrying the weight of the sorrow with grace, allowing the resilience to finally become clear. The greatest tribute to the love we once cherished is the strength to finally learn to live right here. I'm finding small moments of genuine contentment, pleasures that don't require your direct, kind presence. I'm nurturing the passions I allow to wither, rediscovering the subtle core of my essential essence. The solitude is no longer a vast, empty prison. It is a quiet, essential space where I can truly grow. The spirit I am becoming is stronger and more honest, built on the reality of the seeds I finally sow. I realized that the affection we shared didn't vanish, it simply transformed into a profound inner guide, a silent compass directing my future, nowhere for the beautiful lessons to finally hide. I recognize that the greatest act of courage is not fighting the finality, but embracing the light. It's turning my face toward the long winding future, trusting my spirit can conquer the night. The life I lead now must be built on the fragments, using the lessons that the to finally learn to live right here. I'm full of the past by living a life that is truly vibrant, a beautiful testament to the strength of the bond. I am not just surviving a loss, I am transforming, answering the silent call that finally responded. The spirit is healing, the journey is long and to learn. I follow the instructions of every sage advisor, repeating the mantras that promise to finally soothe. I practice the patience and the necessary self-care, trying to recapture the innocence of my youth. I know that healing is not an immediate action, it's a slow, grueling process that constantly demands a cost. But I've reached a point where my hopeful conviction is wavering, feeling entirely shattered and lost. I look at the calendar and see the seasons turning, the proof that the time is relentlessly moving along. And yet the emotional landscape remains utterly frozen, the sorrow still fixed, unwavering and strong. I've paid the price of the profound, crushing sorrow. I've done the difficult, recognizing internal work. I have faced the truth of the failure, completely refusing the temptation to finally shirk. I feel like I'm standing at a quiet, closed doorway, knocking desperately for the key to finally turn. And the only question that haunts my spirit completely is the fundamental lesson I need to learn. I've been waiting for the final sweet moment of freedom. Tell me, when will it be the time the sorrow retreats? When will it be the morning I finally wake up and the ache of the absence completely defeats? When will it be? Look at your picture and feel nothing but fondness and quiet grace. I'm begging the universe for a clear, firm schedule, a final destination in this desolate space. I can't endure the pain, but not the endless waiting. I need the simple knowledge that the struggle will cease. Give me a time frame for the required transformation. Tell me, when will it be? The promise of peace. I see the spirits around me falling in love again, finding their solace in a new comforting gaze. And I question the depth of my own inherent damage, trapped in this devastating fixed silent maze. Is there a fundamental flaw in my core devotion that makes the healing impossible to attain and simply secure? Or is the intensity of the affection we shared a burden, a connection that will always remain painfully pure? I don't need the affection back or the second chance, I only need the knowledge that the pain will expire, because the uncertainty of the unending anguish fuels the fear that constantly sets my spirit on fire. I've paid the price of a profound, crushing sorrow. I've done the typical, recognizing internal work. I have faced the truth of the failure, completely refusing the temptation to finally shirk. I feel like I'm standing at a quiet, closed doorway, knocking desperately for the key to finally turn. And the only question that haunts my spirit completely is the fundamental lesson I need to learn. I've been waiting for the final sweet moment of freedom. Tell me, when will it be the time the sorrow reaches?
me the simple knowledge that the struggle will cease. Give me a time frame for the required transformation. Tell me, when will it be? The promise of peace. I know the answer is found only in surrender, accepting that the timeline is not mine to command, but the heart of the grieving desperately needs a schedule, a single clear measure I can finally understand. I just need a light at the end of this long, dark tunnel. When will it be? Please.
The silence you left behind, the heavy weight of the world that settled on my core. I was convinced that the joy had completely vanished, that the vibrant light would visit me nevermore. I wore the cloak of the sorrow with devotion, believing that anguish was the only truth to claim. I allowed the memories to dictate my every step, constantly whispering your cherished name. But then one morning, the sun broke through the clouds, and a tiny, persistent voice began to call. It urged my spirit to simply stand up and move forward, refusing the darkness that sought to enthrall. I recognize that the ultimate tribute to the affection we share is not to live in perpetual freezing grief. It is to take the lessons and the beautiful moments, building a future where my spirit can finally find belief. I'm choosing the rhythm over the slow, agonizing stillness, the energy that constantly seeks to expand. The vitality is returning, a powerful, undeniable force that I can finally understand. I'm shedding the shadows and embracing the brilliance, finally choosing to become completely lively and free. Lately in my spirit, in my steps, and my laughter, reclaiming the essence that belongs entirely to me. Alive, using the passion of the past as my fuel, pushing against the confines that sought to contain. This newfound energy is a promise to my own cause, surviving the heartbreak and thriving through the pain. I carry the memory not as a burden, but as a compass, directing my purpose to something utterly true. My devotion is now to the beauty onward rising, choosing to be brilliantly, undeniably, loudly new. I recognize that the ultimate tribute to the affection we share is not to live in perpetual freezing grief. It is to take the lessons and the beautiful moments, building a future where my spirit can finally find belief. I'm choosing the rhythm over the slow, agonizing stillness, the energy that constantly seeks to expand. The vitality is returning, a powerful, undeniable force that I can finally I'm finding the pleasure in the simple interactions, the spontaneous moments that light up the passing hours. I am connecting with the spirits around me, nurturing the strength that constantly empowers. The past is no longer a cage or an anchor, it's a photograph I can view with the quiet, clear eye. The devotion remains, but The sky outside my window is perfectly gray now, mirroring the heavy cloud that settled on my core. It's the kind of subtle, unrelenting pressure that reminds me of the feelings I can't ignore. I try to busy my hands with mundane tasks, convincing my spirit that the light will surely break. But the moment I pause, the silence descends, confirming the profound mistake I had to take. I had hoped that the sorrow would choose a different day. Perhaps wait for a moment I felt strong and free. But it chooses the hours when the world is weeping, finding a perfect natural sympathy with me. When the world outside is offering a clear view, raw permission to finally release the tears I've held so deep inside. There's a comfort in knowing the sky shares my sorrow, nowhere for my vulnerable spirit to finally hide. I let the silence fill with the rhythm of the droplets, accepting the necessary cleansing flow, because only in facing the cold raw reality can my spirit truly begin to finally grow. And here in the quiet, undeniable downpour, I finally let the full, heavy truth start raining down. My tears are simply joining the forces of the nature, washing away the smiles that covered this lonely town. The sorrow is cleansing, essential and unrelenting, confirming the pain that I truly have to face. I accept the fact that my spirit is completely broken, lost in this profound, desolate space. There is no point in fighting the cold, heavy emotion. I let the despair completely soak my entire plea. The universe sweeps right alongside my devotion, feeling the sadness that constantly surrounds me. I remember the warmth of your hand on my shoulders, the clear bright sunshine that followed your gaze. It makes the current gray environments darker, navigating the sorrow through this lonely maze. I could try to look forward to the brilliant future, the hopeful moment when the sky is clear and blue. But right now the only honest connection I feel is the immediate, persistent weight of the truth. This isn't a storm meant to pass in a hurry. It's a profound, steady cleansing that demands its time. And I will simply remain in the core of the downpour until the spirit recognizes its final crime. The world outside is offering a clear, raw permission to finally release the tears I've held so deep inside. There's a comfort in knowing the sky shares my sorrow, nowhere for my vulnerable spirit to finally hide. I let the silence fill with the rhythm of the droplets, accepting the necessary cleansing flow, because only in facing the cold raw reality can my spirit truly begin to finally grow. And here in the quiet, undeniable downpour, I finally let the full, heavy truth start raining down. My tears are simply joining the forces of the nature, washing away the smiles that covered this lonely town. potential and unrelenting, confirming I'm praying that I truly have to face. I accept the fact that my spirit is completely broken, lost in this profound, desolate space. There is no point in fighting the cold, heavy emotion. I let the despair completely soak my entire plea. The universe sweeps right alongside my devotion, feeling the sadness that constantly surrounds me. I welcome the sadness that constantly washes over, the proof that the love was completely and truly real. The tears are the price of devotion I offer, the only honest way I know how to finally heal. Let the cleansing continue, let the sorrow finally fall. The silence now is the loudest sound I've ever processed, a constant accusation that echoes in my core. I spent the entirety of our final connection focused on the certainty that I demanded something more. I pointed out the faults and the minor infractions, magnifying the distance that grew between us each day. I truly believe that the failure was yours alone, convinced that my own hands were completely clean in the fray. I walked away with a cold sense of righteousness, seeking the clarity I thought you constantly denied. But the truth arrived with a blinding heavy force, leaving nowhere for my shattered spirit to finally hide. I see the gentle patience you constantly offered, the quiet sacrifices I constantly chose to ignore. I recognize the true devotion in your efforts, the love I was too proud to fully explore. The realization of my arrogance is devastating, the consequence of my final selfish decree. And the sorrow is compounded by the knowledge that the fault, the final crucial failure, rests with me. Final separation, knowing the painful truth. I was wrong to demand perfection and certainty, shattering the bond that kept us beautifully strong. I was wrong to mistake devotion for weakness, failing to honor the true commitment you clearly showed. The pain I now feel is the price of my arrogance, the heavy burden that I alone have sold. For the satisfaction of being right, the only message I can offer now is the sorrow. I was wrong, consuming my final lonely night. I remember the last look of profound sadness in your gaze, the moment you finally yielded the fight and gave in. And it wasn't defeat you accepted, but my own stubbornness, the battle that I desperately needed to finally win. I thought that the freedom I sought would be liberating, but it's simply a vast, empty, desolate space. I exchanged a powerful, genuine connection for nothing, leaving only this devastating, lonely trace. I have no right to ask for a return or forgiveness. I only need to admit the truth to my core. The true loss is not just the separation itself, it's the understanding that I am the one who closed the door. See,
the gentle patience you constantly offered, the quiet sacrifices I constantly chose to ignore. I recognize the true devotion in your efforts, the love I was too proud to fully explore. The realization of my arrogance is devastating, the consequence of my final selfish decree, and the sorrow is compounded by the knowledge that the fall, the final crucial failure rests with me. The final separation, knowing the painful truth. I was wrong to demand perfection and certainty, shattering the bond that kept us beautifully strong. I was wrong to mistake devotion for weakness, failing to honor the true commitment you clearly showed. The pain I now feel is the price of my arrogance, the heavy burden that I alone have sold. Connection for ego, trading the truth for the satisfaction of being right. The only message I can offer now is this sorrow. I was wrong, consuming my final lonely night. This admission is not for your absolution now. It is the necessary first step toward finally growing free. I have to own the damage I carelessly inflicted, accepting the deep, difficult reality of me. The healing begins with this single, simple, true word.